The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Portfolio. I'm your host, Andy MacNeil. I'm here on weekdays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel to provide NHL projections, picks, betting advice, strategies, you name it, to help you make informed bets throughout the NHL season. Big slate of hockey here today. This show is sponsored by NorthStar Bets. Of course, you can check them out via the link in the description below. Good old Canadian sportsbook. They offer odds on the next day's NHL games, which we really appreciate here on this show. Helps us do our job, helps us find some early betting value. And I know all the viewers have appreciated that as well. If you're not subscribed to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel, please do so right now. Please like the video. Hey, if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please follow, please rate and review the podcast. That'll help out a ton. I see a lot of hockey betting podcasts that are a lot higher on the charts. And granted, they started a lot earlier than this one, but there are a lot of hockey betting podcasts out there, and they're all a lot higher on the charts right now than the Puck Portfolio. That has to change. So if you guys could help me out there, I would really appreciate it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in again today. We've got some pretty good betting value by the looks of things. I'm going to recap my picks from Monday's show before we get into the schedule breakdown for Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe Thursday as well. But right now we're on the Flyers half unit play plus 118, currently plus 114 at NorthStar Bets, 0.9% line value on that one. We've got the Panthers to win a unit at minus 139. I told you that one should be minus 159. Well, the latest odds at NorthStar Bets have the Panthers as a minus 156 favorite, 2.8% line value on that one. And then we've got the Canucks minus 115 on Monday's show to win one unit over the Tampa Bay Lightning on the money line. And they're now at minus 122, so 1.5% line value currently on that one. So I want to talk about the Canucks really quick because if you can find a good price out there on Vancouver, I would suggest waiting at this point. Look, I grabbed the minus 115. I thought that was a good bet, regardless of whether Stamkos was back in. I expect him to be, or if Hedman was back in the lineup. But he's a game time decision. According to John Cooper, he's going to skate this morning, see how he feels. But I don't think they're going to rule him in earlier in the day. In all likelihood, it sounds like he'll be a game time decision. So I think, the best course of action here is to wait on the Canucks. We've already had that little early move. If you didn't grab minus 115 yesterday, maybe just hang out until closer to game time, check in, see if Hedman is playing. If he's not, maybe there is still some value on the Vancouver Canucks, who the projection model has as a minus 130 favorite if Hedman is not in the lineup. But just wanted to get that out of the way because I think some people tend to jump the gun when they see the projections. Of course, we've got projections for Tuesday and Wednesday up on the screen. But let's get into a bit of a schedule breakdown, shall we? Tuesday, December 12th. I know we talked about this on Monday's show, but good to recap here really quickly. Of course, the Maple Leafs on the second half of a back-to-back in New York, taking on the Rangers, who are playing their third game in 4 days. The Maple Leafs, they got that tying goal. Of course, John Tavares getting his 1,000th point in front of all those fans of his in Long Island. And the Maple Leafs forced overtime, but the Isles got the job done in OT with a goal from Bo Horvat. So the Maple Leafs coming in a little less rested than they would have been if they had maybe started the game on time and not fell behind 3-1, but they had to battle back and had to expense a lot of energy doing so. So you wonder how that'll impact them. Carolina and Ottawa both have 2 days rest. The Arizona Coyotes, they're on the second half of a back-to-back after that loss against the Sabres in Buffalo on Monday. They're playing the Pittsburgh Penguins on Tuesday, who have had 3 days rest. The Philadelphia Flyers, they've got 2 days off against the Nashville Predators, who are playing their third game in 4 days. Of course, we've got that half unit play on the Flyers plus 118. Shop around. There might be enough value out there. The model thinks the Flyers should be plus 110. There might be enough value out there at some sports books if you shop around. If you can get the Flyers around plus 118, plus 119, then they're good for a half unit play. Hopefully Carter Hart is in goal for us for that one. The Detroit Red Wings, they lost Monday's game against the Dallas Stars wasn't really a close one. They're on the second half of a back-to-back here playing the Blues, who have had 2 days off. The Chicago Blackhawks, third game in 4 nights. They've had 1 day off. They're in Edmonton taking on the Oilers, who also have 1 day off. The Florida Panthers, we're on the Panthers, as I mentioned, minus 139. That one's long gone. The Florida Panthers, they've got 1 day off against the Seattle Kraken, who are playing their third game in 4 days. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Vancouver Canucks both have 2 days off. While the Calgary Flames are playing their second game in as many nights, they blew that third period lead against the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche, who were on their way to losing their 6th in their last 7, but they came back, won the game in regulation against the Flames. They're playing Vegas tonight, who are playing their third game in 4 days. And finally, we've got the Winnipeg Jets and the San Jose Sharks, with both having 1 day off. Of course, on Wednesday, we've got Pittsburgh. They're playing the second half of a back-to-back at Montreal. We've got Boston with 3 days off in New Jersey, taking on the Devils with 2 days off. The Anaheim Ducks, 2 days off against the Isles, who have had just 1 day off. The Buffalo Sabres and Colorado Avalanche going head-to-head. They each have 1 day off. And the Winnipeg Jets, they're in San Jose on Tuesday. They're going to be in LA on Wednesday, taking on the Kings, who have had 2 days off at that point. So the Jets in tough here. We're going to do some injury updates now, because I'm not sure if anything has changed since I put this together a little bit earlier this morning, but we will see here. Timothy Liljegren, Maple Leafs defenseman, he was back at practice this weekend. Could expect him to return to the lineup as soon as Tuesday's game against the Rangers, although I guess that seems a little bit unlikely. He's been out since November 2nd. Dylan Larkin, Red Wings forward captain, is expected to be out at least a week. Probably going to miss the Red Wings' next few games after that hit in Saturday's game, I believe. Head coach Rod Brind'Amour, Hurricanes coach, told Walt Ruff of the Carolina's official site Monday that Andrei Svechnikov is scheduled to undergo an MRI. Brind'Amour was unable to provide additional information. Svechnikov has missed the past 2 games, should be considered questionable at best to play Tuesday against Ottawa. The 23-year-old winger has 1 goal, 10 assists in 16 appearances this season. Brett Pesce was absent from practice on Monday due to an illness, which makes him questionable for Tuesday's games versus the Senators as well. Penguins forward Raquel is with Pittsburgh on the road, but he's not eligible to play until Wednesday at Montreal. Brian Rust will be out at minimum the Penguins' next 3 games. Anthony Duclair and William Eklund, San Jose Sharks forwards, and several other players for the Sharks are listed as day-to-day. So that'll make pricing this game versus the Winnipeg Jets very tough, as forward Kyle Connor, he is set to undergo an MRI on Monday, or he was set to go an MRI on Monday. Doesn't bode well for his status heading into Tuesday's game against San Jose. I've ruled him out, but we should learn more about his injury soon. Looks like that is the case. So there is a morning skate here, and I'm sure they'll learn a little bit after that what the latest is on Kyle Connor. Kraken goaltender Philip Grubauer was placed on injured reserve on Sunday. Defenseman Justin Schultz is day-to-day. And as I mentioned, Steven Stamkos, he missed Saturday's game due to an illness. Lightning head coach John Cooper said that defenseman Victor Hedman will be a game-time decision. So, yeah, some things to watch out for sure. Jake, did you take in any hockey last night, or were you too busy with Monday Night Football?
Pretty much, yeah, just Monday Night Football. It was kind of a crummy night of football. Both underdogs won, but there was injuries on both sides, kind of sloppy football. So not the greatest night, even though it was a doubleheader, not the greatest night of football.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, I'm happy with the bets that I have for Tuesday right now. If you haven't been here before, this show is all about obtaining value, right? Obtaining line value. We're not trying to pick winners. We're trying to win bets, of course, but the goal here is to get value, and then let the chips fall where they may. And that's what I've been doing this season. It's worked out really well. If we can pull up the betting record really quick, Jake, that would be great. It's been a hell of a ride so far, and I'm happy with the results. Last week was not great. It was not a good week overall. Lost about a little over 2 units overall. But look, we've got a pretty good cushion. It's not always going to be roses. So I'm pretty happy with the results so far this season. I mean, we're almost into the middle of December, and we've done a lot of good work. 126 bets so far this season. Um, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things have been going. Um, 72 wins, 54 losses, 16.4 units of profit, 12% return on investment, 2.6% closing line value, beating the closing line 66% of the time. Both of those bottom numbers, while the units and the ROI did go down last week, the closing line value and the closing line value frequency both went up. So, go figure, right? We started getting crazy line value last week, or we didn't start. We've been getting some really good line value all season long, but we got overall really good line value, some 30 and 40 cent moves in our direction, and those bets did not hit for us, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, we will keep grinding here, keep grinding, and hopefully we will come out ahead when it's all said and done at the end of the regular season, and set ourselves up nicely to head into the Stanley Cup playoffs, which will be here before you know it. I mean, we're going to be at the holidays pretty quick here. Things have been moving along. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but things have been moving on pretty quick here, for the puck portfolio. I mean, not really any days off during the hockey season for a hockey bettor like myself. So it things move pretty quick, and the weeks kind of move like days. In at least in hindsight, anyway. So we're already into December. We're going to be into January soon. Before you know it, we'll be at the All-Star break, the trade deadline, etc. So yeah. Quick question, Weller time. I'm going to read this live. So if it's a terrible question, I don't know. No, I'm just joking. Do you tend to bet more games in the playoffs or regular season percentage wise? Uh, Absolutely, the regular season. So I know there are people. Great question, by the way. Weller, thanks for watching every day. He's sick at home in New Jersey in Park Ridge. So hopefully you feel better. Everybody's sick right now. My wife and kid are upstairs right now, just going through it. Let's just say they are both not feeling very well. But I definitely bet more games percentage wise, per capita, whatever you want to call it, in the regular season. Right? I mean, I think the regular season is, I want to say, you can be kind of blissfully ignorant, right? There's so many games. Of course, you need to have a handle on things, but let's be honest, right? I don't know everything about every single team, all 32 teams in the NHL. I look at it like, well, if I can know every team, if I can know 50, 60% of every team and kind of have a pretty good handle on every single team, that's better than knowing, a handful of teams really, really well. And there are those teams that I feel like I probably know a little bit better than others, but yeah, no, I bet I love the regular season because yeah, it's just there's new slates every day, new matchups every day. The playoffs, man, it's tough because look, wow, McAvoy got a break here from this question, and we'll get back to that in a minute. McAvoy and Zaka out tomorrow versus the New Jersey Devils. So let's pull up the projections again for a sec, Jake, and talk about that game. Because now that I have some confirmation here, I can actually look at what the change is here, to the Bruins number now that McAvoy and Zach are confirmed out here. Let me just see here. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right. Almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Where are we at here? Okay. Okay, and what do we have? What is the market at right now for New Jersey and Boston? Let's see here. Let's see here. All right, so looks like the best price right now, minus 105, and now I think that's pretty much where the Devils should be. So I had McAvoy as questionable, I had Zaka as questionable, but now that they're both out, a little better than a 10-cent move So I had Boston, New Jersey as a minus 102 favorite. Now they should be roughly minus 112, or minus 113 actually. So yeah, I mean the odds at NorthStar Bet right now. It's a pick 'em minus 110 on each side. So I guess if you can find that minus 105 on the New Jersey Devils, then maybe a good bet. But yeah, I guess really I wonder how this one will move and whether I'll end up on Boston tomorrow on Wednesday, right? Because with the market, two big players like McAvoy and Zaka. We'll see how that moves the line, and if the Bruins end up as a sizable underdog up around plus 120. I'm not sure that'll happen. I mean, but if that happens, then I guess I wouldn't hesitate to bet the Bruins, even though they'll be shorthanded. I do like the Devils. Overall, I'm not as low on them as some people are. But back to the question about the regular season, I love that you can wipe the slate clean kind of in the regular season. You have a bad day or a good day or whatever, you start fresh the next day. There's new matchups. The playoffs, man, it's really hard to overcome some of the biases in the playoffs. And if you maybe you make a really good number for a series or a game, and game one does, you get a bunch of closing line value in game one on your bet, and it doesn't go your way. Well, you've already shown the market that's a tell, right? If you make a bet in game one on a particular team, let's say it's the home team, you bet the home team to win game one in a playoff series, and you get a line move of, let's say, 20 cents in your favor. Well, let's say you bet minus 140, they close minus 160. You can guarantee that whether they win or lose, or I shouldn't say whether they win or lose, but if they lose, even if they lose, they're going to open in game two at minus 160, because one, you've got the tell. You know that the market liked that team up to minus 155 or something like that. So you move it to minus 160, minus 165. And you're not going to get as much action there, now, as much sharp action, sorry. And at that point, so they can open it there. But then you also have the whole, the zigzag theory and all that stuff. The fact that, hey, the team lost the first game, they're going to come back and try even harder to win the next game so they don't go down 0-2 in the series. And all this works against the price, right? So if you got a great price in game one and it didn't work out in your favor, well, you kind of got to go. It's kind of hard to go back with that same strategy, even if that's the team that is, most likely to win and all that stuff. Like, it's just a really hard one for me to wrap my head around. I almost think you've got to kind of take a different approach to it, and I don't like doing that. I like my approach. I like my process, and it's the best in the regular season. So in the playoffs, I'll look for player props a lot more than I do in the regular season. And I'll also play some series prices, things like that. But yeah, no, I'll make more bets in the regular season. Look, I'm at 126 bets so far, not counting a couple of player props and a parlay that were profitable. That little subset of wagers, I just haven't included them in the record tracking. But 126 money line wagers so far this season. We're about roughly 30, a little over 30, or almost 35% of the way through the season. So look, we can probably expect to have somewhere around 300 bets, somewhere 300 to 400 bets this season. And yeah, I don't think that we'll even come close to that in the playoffs. There are at, maximum 150 games in the playoffs. And that's if every series goes 7 games. And I would, man, I don't know. It's tough. Like, there will be a series or two in each round that I might really attack, but other than that, it'll be player props, etc. But no sides, not a chance. Regular season, I love it. I don't think you get the same kind of value as you do in the regular season as the playoffs. So hopefully that answers your question. Some people don't like the regular season because they think teams don't show up every game, etc. But I think that's kind of foolish. I mean, if you're handicapping every game and you're making enough bets, it's all going to work out in the wash probably. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Thanks for asking it. Of course, ask questions anytime you guys want, but that pretty much does it for today's show. I don't got any bets for Wednesday right now. We'll see where it goes. Actually, you know what, Jake, do we have the dartboard ready, or should I just add it? I can still add it, regardless, because All right, we're gonna add a pick to the dartboard. Let's see what the odds are right now. This one's for Tuesday though. Cause man, I mean, dun, dun, dun. All right, where we at here? Okay, now I got the odds up. I'm gonna put 1.1 unit on the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Arizona Coyotes tie at plus 343. So very small bet to win, roughly 0.34 units. But that's my dartboard pick for Tuesday. I think the Coyotes are gonna give the Penguins a little bit of a test on Tuesday. And there's maybe some value out there on the Coyote side. I don't know that I want to play that. But yeah. So yeah, it's the Coyotes 0.1 units. Of course, I'll track it along with everything else, a little in a separate subset. But yeah, 0.1 units on the Coyotes at plus 340, and not the Coyotes, on the Coyotes and Penguins to get to extra time at plus 343. So that's the three-way draw. And there's even a plus 350 out there at a sports book that's probably available to most of you, but not available to me. That's why I took the plus 343, but you could take plus 350 if you want to tail along. Thanks for joining me on today's show. We'll be back on Wednesday. Of course, Wednesday's show, if you don't know, is a big one because we look ahead to Thursday's games, and of course, we're going to have a big slate on Thursday. So yeah, tune in for sure. Hope you feel better, Weller. I know you're homesick, so I hope you feel better. I hope all of you have a great day. Good luck with your bets on Tuesday, and we'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Thanks.